The Napoleon of Notting Hill. Book 3. By G.K. Chesterton. Narrated by Sam Kusi. Chapter 1. The Mental Condition of Adam Wayne. A little while after the king's accession, a small book of poems appeared called Hymns on the Hill. They were not good poems, nor was the book successful, but it attracted a certain amount of attention from one particular school of critics. The king himself, who was a member of the school, reviewed it in his capacity of literary critic to Straight from the Stables, a sporting journal. They were known as the Hammock School because it had been calculated malignantly by an enemy that no less than 13 of their delicate criticisms had begun with the words, "I read this book in a hammock, half asleep, in the sleepy sunlight. After that, there were important differences. Under these conditions, they liked everything, but especially everything silly. Next to authentic goodness in a book, and that, alas, we never find, we desire a rich badness." Thus it happened that their praise, as indicating the presence of a rich badness, was not universally sought after, and authors became a little disquieted when they found the eye of the Hammock School fixed upon them with peculiar favour. The peculiarity of Hymns on the Hill was the celebration of the poetry of London as distinct from the poetry of the country. This sentiment or affectation was, of course, not uncommon in the 20th century, nor was it, although sometimes exaggerated and sometimes artificial, by any means without a great truth at its root. For there is one respect in which a town must be more poetical than the country, since it is closer to the spirit of man. For London, if it be not one of the masterpieces of man, is at least one of his sins. A street is really more poetical than a meadow, because a street has a secret. A street is going somewhere, and a meadow nowhere. But in the case of the book called Hymns on the Hill, there was another peculiarity, which the king pointed out with great acumen in his review. He was naturally interested in the matter, for he had himself published a volume of lyrics about London under his pseudonym of Daisy Daydream. This difference, as the king pointed out, consisted in the fact that, while mere artificers like Daisy Daydream, on whose elaborate style the king, over his signature of Thunderbolt, was perhaps somewhat too severe, thought to praise London by comparing it to the country, using nature, that is, as a background from which all poetical images had to be drawn. The more robust...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?